This is harder than I thought it would be. Anyways, you guys, if you're listening to this right now, it means that I have overcome so much, so many things, including self judgment about how this podcast should look like, what should be the name, what should be the focus, all these overthinking that, just kept me in paralysis, analysis, whatever. Second of all, I detached from this idea, 6 years long idea, that this podcast needs to be with my boyfriend. I literally created the podcast for us. I ended up recording the episodes alone. And then after 6 years, Tomasz was like, listen, this is your thing. Tomasz is my boyfriend. He's like, this is your thing. This is clearly your thing. I was not born to do this, but you were. You were born in front of the camera. You were born, to talking and documenting your life with your dad filming you. This is clearly your passion. Don't put me there anymore. And I was like, okay. And so 2 weeks ago, I decided that I'm going to do this alone. And the moment I did that, this guy did not leave me alone. Since then, he was like, when are we going to record episode? Isn't it so funny? And we actually recorded 2 episodes already. They are posted after this one. I have been waiting for a week to actually record the intro episode. And here we are. So welcome to What is Life? You know the song? What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. So that's how actually this started already back in 2018. I created, that was a bike, because I'm outside on our balcony in a beautiful accommodation, Laok Sao Riverstone Villas. It is in Vietnam, Hoi An, where we moved 2 months ago. Anyways, in 2018, so don't mind the sounds, okay? It's going to be authentic. I'm not gonna edit it out like this is it, this is me. Whatever comes out, comes out. I passed the times when I needed to micromanage every single thing I say, the way I look, even the fact that I'm just recording this as an audio without a camera is part of me detaching from the need to be seen, to have my face on everything, because I really believed that my face is what's going to sell it, and all of these conditions that actually stopped me from doing what I love, which is just talking. Yeah. And so in 2018, I actually started a YouTube channel called What is Life? And I started to ask myself this question because until 2018, I was 26. Life was fucking good. Or at least that's how I saw it. Life was really amazing with all the ups and downs and all the things. I felt like, dude, I'm special. How is it possible that everything I want becomes, reality? Everything I want comes true. How is it possible that I don't have any problems? Now, today I know that it was just like a period of time when I was kind of like pushing away the actual feelings that were hard for me to feel by smoking and drinking and eating McDonald's as a reward after hard or emotionally challenging days and stuff like that, So I learned to cope with those feelings in a way that I wasn't even aware that I refused to feel them. And that's why I was like, oh my god, life is so perfect. I don't know why is everyone freaking out. Well, be careful of what you ask or what you wish for to get answer for, because that year was exactly the year when everything turned upside down for me. And this question, what is life, has been the single catalyst for absolute transformation and rebirth and chaos and everything you can imagine. The most messy 8 years of my life, but also the most intense and the most fulfilling. And yeah, it's been. And the thing is that it's been a little bit lonely as well, because once you start having this kind of, let's say, let's call it awakening, but not in a woo woo way. It's just more about starting to question shit, starting to question reality and yourself, and really, what is life? What the fuck is this thing? Like, we are, paying bills, getting groceries, thinking 3 times per day what we're gonna eat. We are on a flying rock in the space, and like, what the fuck? Actually, when you think about it, it's like mind blowing. And then at some point, I think in life, when we reach around like 30, they call it, or people, or like Instagram, let's say, calls it the midlife crisis. Okay. And that's where we start to do crazy shit. We start to experience emotions, and we either cope with it with addictions or numbing or scrolling, or we start questioning things and we start to get into the books. Yeah, we feel like we have to read every single spiritual book. We start to get therapy. We start to learn energy healing. We start to learn like the tools for nervous system regulations. And all of this is cute and beautiful. But sometimes all of this is, again, just us trying to figure out a way out of really being a human, being a messy, honest, raw human that is going through life in a way that is not straightforward. It is not like what I told us at school. It's not linear. And it's hard, dude. It is hard. And once we get to this age, it's a roller coaster. And it's been a roller coaster for me, really. It's been crazy times. And I decided to create a podcast about it, because actually in 2018 I was still living in Dubai, and I decided that I'm going to show the world the reality behind Dubai. Everybody sees all of these beautiful buildings and money and I don't know what else. I don't know, I can't even explain what. But actually, I wanted to always bring truth and authenticity into everything. And that's what I realized is my number one value, really. Throughout my whole life, being honest and being authentic has been my number one thing, my number one theme. And as I went through life, I realized that it's not that common, and people are not that open to talk about their fuck ups, because it can look like something's wrong with them or like they're not good enough. Exactly my thoughts that I've had since 2018. I really believe that something's deeply wrong with me. Like, something's wrong with me. I don't know. I just felt like I just can't figure out so many things. Actually, I have to go inside because the mosquitoes are eating me. So just a second. Oh, what a nice AC. And I'm not gonna edit these things out, okay? You are here with me. This is like you and me having a coffee. This is conversation. And I encourage you to either comment or ask questions or whatever. This is both of us, you and me, listening, talking. And although it's just me speaking up, I know there's entire inner dialogue happening in your head and some kind of reflection happening. And this is what's getting to the point of this podcast. There's something we as humans love, okay, when we go through really intense experience. And it is permission slip to go through it, and that we are not alone and that it's okay. To go from self-rejection in a way like, oh my God, this is wrong. I shouldn't be feeling like this. Why am I going through this? It shouldn't be like this. And I don't like it. How can I get rid of this feeling? How can I make this stop? Can I just figure it out somehow just so that I can go around it and get to the point where I am happy, where I feel good finally, where I have a lot of energy and I'm not tired without, needing to sleep and actually take a rest. No. I want coffee. No, I want this pill. I want to do this exercise so that I can get back on track. And so sometimes the only thing that helps is to know that you're not alone. And I don't know, like, I haven't seen that many people actually speaking the raw truth of what they're going through. But I'm done being quiet about this shit, because if there's one thing I'm good at, it's being honest, is being oversharing, and it's being talking a lot about the trial error extreme, too emotional, too crazy, too intense, too overthinking kind of living that I am going through. For years, I thought that it's a flaw, that there's something wrong with me, that maybe I have mental issues and all of that. And I will get to it in other episodes. I'm just giving you overview in a very like ADHD chaotic way, but I hope you get the essence. The words are anyway just 7% of the whole, communication. You feel the energy behind me. If you're still listening to it, something in you is like, oh yeah, actually, I like this. I don't even know what this is still about, but I like to listen to this. It makes me feel good somehow. And you know why? It's because I reflect the part of you that maybe is full of shame, or maybe is like rejecting yourself and the way you are. Because if there's one thing I learned, and it was actually in the past months since November, when something huge happened in my life, and I will talk about it later, but think like completely identity shattering, completely life altering situation that you didn't expect, and it stopped everything and the whole world turned upside down, and you were like point blank not knowing what the fuck is going to happen now and how this could happen and who are you without this. Okay, and I'll talk about it in another episode, so I'm kind of like making it mysterious so that you keep searching for this episode. Oh my god, I'm having so much fun, and also that's why I'm making this podcast. I just love talking. Can you feel it? So yeah, this part of us, part of you that is full of shame and guilt, that's basically the part of me I discovered in like 2021. And I know how hard it is to have that part of you really having so much judgment and so many opinions and so many thoughts at 2 a.m., let's say. Okay? You use ChatGPT, you use all the tools, and nothing helps. Well, sometimes what helps is just to know you're not alone. Okay? To know that you are not a problem to be fixed or solved. And that healing, like we will talk about it more in depth in this podcast many times, because it's a period of my life that I really was attached to. Healing. What is healing? Healing, that is not about like fixing what's broken in us, but I learned that it's actually learning and understanding and knowing that the way you are is fucking enough. And I'm going to take a look at my notes that I prepared, and I'm going to see if I spoke about everything, because I probably didn't. Okay, I changed the location, and I am now looking at sunset over the Hoyan River and coconut palm trees, and it's just absolutely beautiful. And if I was recording this on a video, you would really have an amazing experience, but I hope that voice is enough. So, I think I kind of said and mentioned pretty much everything I wanted to say about a podcast, but I haven't said anything about me, because the chances are you don't know me. Probably just my friends are listening to this right now. Hey guys, love you. But if you don't know me at all and you just are curious, okay, I don't know how you found me, but if you found me, you don't know who I am, I'm gonna say a little bit about me. My name is obviously Martina, as this podcast is called, probably, if I didn't change the name for the 47th time. I'm 33 years old, okay, and the only thing that I have figured out in my lifetime is that I love to talk. And that's why this podcast is finally being uploaded and ready for you to listen. That's it, okay? And I believe that what I came here for is to normalize fuck-ups and what we call failures and the trial error life. And in human design, if you know human design, if you don't, then look it up. But I am a manifestor, 3-5. The line 3, the number 3, means that I live trial error way, and I learn from my own quote unquote mistakes. And trust me, I have done so many in my life, but I don't call it mistake. Okay, I just call it experience. I'm really normalizing and neutralizing everything. That's basically what I really consider a successful way, or what I consider success. That's actually a really great also episode topic, because redefining success takes away so much pressure and so much like it brings so much relief into your life. And lately I decided that what success means for me is to neutralize things that um, create so much meanings and stories in my head that actually take away power away from me. Anyways, so I'm 33, okay, but I feel like I have lived like 330 lives because of this trial error living. I am also like the person of huge extremes. Example, I lived in 2013. I went for Erasmus to Finland, where it was minus 36 degrees at some point. And within a few months, I moved to Dubai, where it was plus fucking 60, 50 or 40. Let's say just 40. Like, what an extreme. And I was like, yes, this is what I want to experience. I want to experience absolutely everything in this life that I can. And, when you actually feel like you're in control of it, like, yeah, I decide that I go to live there, and then I decide I want to live there, that's great. You're like, yeah, that's amazing. But when you feel like you're not in control of it and the extreme shows up in emotions or life situations that you basically don't really have control over, and life circumstances that are like really extreme from one end to another, then you're like, oh, fuck, what is this? And that's why for me, normalizing and neutralizing everything and understanding that, I give meaning to things and they don't really mean anything until I make them mean something. That for me is success. If I really reach the point where I don't feel guilty for feeling tired or sick, and I'm just like, yeah, it's a normal cycle of the body and I can actually get through it, then that's a success for me. Because if I didn't, again, it would create like guilt and shame and all of these patterns that are very easily triggered in me. And I want to tell you um, something that, yeah, even though while I was really thinking that my life is amazing and perfect, somewhere in my subconscious or somewhere in the back of my head was this voice that I really tried to shut up in every way possible, but I couldn't anymore in 2018 when I asked what is life. And there was the feeling that I do everything wrong. Somehow I have experienced so much rejection in my life that is not even possible. I'm gonna give you like I made notes actually. Well, there are like some really crazy shit that I went through so that you can realize what kind of life I have been living. And that's why it's like 330 lives in 33 years. But like that's okay, that's life. That's life worth living. And I accept it fully at this point, thank God. When I was 3 years old, they sent me to psychiatry, like for an exam, because the teacher in my kindergarten, like I was a fucking baby, okay? They thought something's wrong with me because I'm not participating in activities with other babies. They were like, Miriam, my mom, listen, Martina we don't know what's wrong with her, but something's wrong with her because we're reading books and she's just like bored. So they did some test, okay? And they realized that I already know how to read and I already read all the books in my own free time, and that I'm 2 years ahead of development. Like, I don't know, intelligent, I don't know what kind of development, but somehow they decided that this is my story and that I'm ahead of everyone. And that's when they started to give me manager roles. I started to tie like a shoes for the other kids. I started to like gather them. Oh my God. I started to like read the books for them, making sure they go to sleep. Yeah, and I was just 3. Like, what the fuck? Okay. I was always told that I'm too loud, too emotional, too energetic. I played tennis since I was 6 until I got injured in 17, and I played really well. But like the anger that I felt on a tennis court, oh my God, it was so much rage that they sent me to, again, sports psychologists that couldn't help me. And I think the anger really put me into this injury so that I don't kill myself with all of these emotions that I didn't know how to manage. And there was no one to tell me about it, to actually educate me about it. But then, this rage continued and I had behavioral issues at school. When I was like 12, I received this thing where you get like a lower grade in behavior. Yeah, it was just hard. I felt like I'm the biggest problem of the school. Like literally the main guy of the school, the principal, literally shook my hand, gave me the paper that I'm just like behaviorally fucked. That was great. I remember it until today. Then at 17, I went to the US as an exchange student, to Michigan, and they literally kicked me out of the US because I broke all the rules. And it's not like I was the only one. Everybody broke all the rules. But for some reason, I created a situation where my host family was the most biblical, Jesus, Christian, and I'm not making fun of it. I love Jesus at this point of my life, but like it was just too much. And I was absolutely not complying with their idea of how I should be. And I think it's this idea of people projecting on me how I should be. And if I wasn't, then I was punished. And that's when I internalized it probably and started to do it to myself eventually. But let's like hypothesis for later. And I was literally kicked out 1 month before I actually finished the school. So I came home early. My parents were disappointed. And it was hard because the family literally closed me in a room for the last 3 days. Didn't allow anyone to say goodbye to me, and yeah, it's been huge. When I came back, the shit continued, and I found a boyfriend that my parents really didn't like, and they stopped speaking to me for a year. Another disapproval and rejection. Okay. If this wasn't enough, in 2017, I kind of overdosed with MDMA, and I'm not going to go further into it because I really want to like tell you the next points. Okay. What is this? Head law. Oh, yeah. I have lawsuit in Dubai, and I cannot go back there for something that I'm innocent in because my business partner did things that basically I don't even know about. And I just cannot go back to Dubai, which I left after 6 years during Corona. Then I met my boyfriend, and I never went back, so that's okay. But it's still there. With whom, by the way, I built $4 million company, magnetic couples bracelets, but nobody knows. Then since like 5 months in, I started burning out every 3 months, and this has been happening until now. It's been 6 years. Okay, that's also another chapter. I always thought that I have to have a coach and healer or someone, to help me, and none of it really helped, you know. So all of this pointed into just me needing to figure out me and really keep asking what is life. And that's why we are here. So I'm 33. I have no kids. I'm not married. I don't own a home. I own a car which is parked in Slovakia. His name is Tiborko. It's a Mercedes LM, a 17-year-old car, absolutely beautiful. And he's just chilling there waiting for us to go back for a few months and drive him. But that's all I own. I own a dog. Yeah, yeah. I own a dog, a golden retriever, super cute, Buchta. I'll also say something very briefly. I'm not gonna get into it, but this was probably like the highlight, and I needed some time to be able to talk about it. And that is, I'm gonna. Uh, my father died 6 months ago by his own choice, and he committed suicide. That changed completely the way I look at life. So, what is life? Changed a lot since then. And I basically never had really proper job. I was always just I told myself I will never do 9 to 5. And I never did except of the internship in a creative agency called Havas Worldwide in Dubai, where I learned everything about social media, content creation, filming, and all of that I later used for my business and created really great, product based online store with my boyfriend, where we connected our powers. He's the backend, I'm the everything you can see and read is my part, all the social media, all the videos, everything. And yeah, basically that's how the YouTube channel that I spoke about earlier from 2018 about Dubai, and reality of living there, actually that brought me into that job. They kind of like found me or something, and they were like, we like the way you see the world, and we want to teach you everything, and then maybe you can work for us. Well, I didn't work for them after that because we didn't agree on some things. And but it really gave me so much, everything what I needed for my own business that I created later. And basically, one thing, one thing I really unshakably believe in is that I'm just good in talking. I just love talking, and maybe I'm not even good at it, but I just love it. And I decided that, you know what, even though everything's going south in my life, and since 2020, everything that I believe my worth is based on, like my looks, my face, my hair, what I have, what I do, where I live, how much money I make, whatever. All of this has been taken away from me, or I created this scenario where this happened so that I understand that the never changing worth is inside of me, in my core being, that is really honest and caring and loving, and that's never changing. And because of that, I decided to share that part of me and to share my truth. Also, this podcast once has been called Martina's Truth. Once it has been also called Too Much Key. It was for the girls that felt like they're too much, so that I would normalize it, that we're not too much, we're just fucking amazing. And yeah, and basically this, I just want to finish quickly because it's been already, oh, it's not so much. Oh, you guys, okay, we have all evening. So basically, this kind of self rejection, or like rejection being reflected by the world, right? Because like the world is just reflection of our inner state, or our, inside experience is reflected outside. I realized that, yeah, I have this self rejection inside of me. So everything started changing when I discovered the human design in basically 1 year ago, June 2025. And that was like a first relief, actually, that after all those years that I trying to change myself and fix myself with energy healing and all these self-regulation techniques and courses. Oh my God, I spent so much, tens of thousands of dollars into self fixing. That's how I would name it. And I think we can all say that we are guilty of this, or we have done this at some point of our lives. Today I'm done with all of these things and I'm just living life, just like not really analyzing. And sometimes I fall into it, but I really catch myself and I'm like, okay, this is fine. It means absolutely nothing about me. That's when I experienced the first relief of acceptance. Yeah, because the human design, actually, check it out. Find out what you are and check some things about yourself. Dude, I don't know how the fuck this guy did it, but he said so many things about me when I put my like name and date of birth and place of birth. I was like, wow, so I'm not weird? So there's nothing wrong with me? This is actually normal in my chart? That was like a first thing. Again, I needed some external validation. That's like something that has been forever my thing. But, I've been detaching from it, of course, in the past years. But like, it felt so good. It felt probably as good as probably like when you're listening to this and you really, really resonate with what I'm saying. If you have very similar story to me, then probably it felt very similarly as a relief. And actually, that's also one of the reasons I created this podcast, because I don't give a fuck. I'm just gonna say everything as it is for me. And it's not like I have everything figured out. And I'm not going to give you solutions, and I'm not going to give you tools. There has been period of my time when I really believed I have to be a coach and I have to be a healer and I have to save the world. And I taught people how to like do self healings and all of this. We were coaching with Tomasz, many people, but not many, but like people. And I felt like I believe that that's what I have to be in order to be a good person, a proper, valuable citizen of this planet. No, no, that's not my role. Like, I'm not here to be a guru or to be a teacher, because you don't need to learn. You don't need me to teach you anything. You don't need anything. Literally, you don't need anything. Another bike honking. You don't need to learn anything new than what you already have inside of you. You just need to unlearn, and you don't even need to unlearn. It happens by itself. That's the beautiful, incredible, effortless part of evolution. Sorry for the sounds, not sorry. That's life in Vietnam. So you literally don't need anything, and anyone actually, to do anything. It's a part of evolution that brings you everything in the right time, everything that you're ready for, every piece of information, every podcast like this one will come in the perfect time when you're ready for it. And if you're not ready for it, then you will listen to it and you will toss it and you will like unfollow. And then one day there will come a day when you will somehow magically come across the same thing, and it will suddenly bring you some great relief, or you will be like, oh my god, but I didn't get this before, I didn't like it, how is it possible that now it's helping me so much? Well, because it's an evolution, baby. It's literally just a natural thing that we all go through, but we try to push so hard our way into growth and self-growth and self-evolution. But if we only just relaxed and accepted ourselves the way we are, maybe, just maybe, these things would happen a little bit faster. Because it's all the resistant, whatever you resist persists. If you resist the way you are, oh honey, it's going to be a hard, rocky road, just like for me. Learn from my mistakes, and that's why also this podcast is here. I speak openly about the way, what I did, what I went through, and that's when you, whatever happens inside of you is exactly what you're meant to experience. And you know, as long as I do what I love, which is do recording things, and you do what you love, which might be, if the stars align listening to this, then great. You had fun. I had fun. Everybody wins. Goodbye. Great. You know, see you in another episode. But if you don't, then it's absolutely okay. I cannot please everyone, and please don't try to please anyone. Please. Like shape-shifting and people pleasing. Oh, that's another story. Oh, you see what is life? Life is so messy and I love it. And the more I talk about it, the more also like I normalize it for myself, you know? So yeah, anyways, now 1 year later, oh yeah, this thing with my dad when it happened in November, like that was huge. And that's when I realized that basically, you know, I tried to help him. He's been for 8 years, like sick, let's say, mentally. They call it mentally ill. I don't believe in mental illness. I just believe that if we're just resisting. And he was in so much resistance that he basically resisted life and ended it. And this, I tried to help him so much. I did everything I could when it comes to like energy healing and like trying to help him with, you know, telling him all I learned and being there for him for his panic attacks. And it's been a huge journey, part of my journey, honestly. But I didn't realize it. But that's going to be another episode. This is just an overview, Martina. Relax. Okay. But when this happened, I realized that I cannot help anyone. I cannot control anything. And I cannot really change anything. I think I do. Our brain thinks we are in control, but actually I'm not. And that's when it has been like an accelerator of my resistance to acceptance journey. Okay. And so, yeah, to come down to the truth and authenticity being my first value, and freedom and unconditional living, love, and acceptance, those are the things that will probably be, this podcast will be like revolving around. Also, English is my second language, but I think I'm doing a pretty good job in expressing myself and that you understand me. And yeah, so this is the podcast, What is Life? And it's going to be not something that will teach you things. Maybe it will. It will, listen, it will do whatever it's meant to do for you. Okay? I'm only going to speak about my crazy life, my stories, the lessons I learned, the trials, the errors, the push and pull, the things that I did and that, you know, are just so funny to share. People love stories. And by the way, in the past, when there was no Instagram and YouTube, you know how did the tribes learned? Like the tribes around the fire, like in the middle of a forest? They learned from telling stories. Like literally the elders, they would sit around the fire and the kids would listen. And I imagine they played guitar, but I don't think they had guitar 3,000 years ago, or I don't know. But like they were speaking and telling stories. And that's from all these like, I don't know the name, syllables? No, wait. Lullabies? No, I don't know. Stories, you know, the generations were learning. And some of them actually are even like alive today because everything just leads into the same truth. That's what I believe. So yeah, you know, people learn from stories always. And I think that's enough. I always try to figure out, oh my God, but what's my, teaching? What's my method? Because that's what all the business coaches teach you. Like, you have to figure out your method, your steps, then you have to sell it. I don't want to sell anything. I just want to speak about my stories, because one day maybe my kids will listen to this. Hi, kids. Yeah. And they'll be like, oh my God, mama, what the fuck? And I would be like, yeah, that was me. So it's kind of like also my personal diary. Diary? Diary. Yeah? Diary. Diary. I'm having so much fun. And I'm just alone sitting by the river. Anyways, yeah, as I said, I thought I had to be a coach. And I have to have a course, And I have to sell things and teach things and have value in that way. But no, it never happened because that was not my way. It was not meant to be. If you're listening to this, this is my way and it's meant to be. And I realized that I only love talking. And my life has so many crazy stories. And that me speaking about them actually helps me process and ground and normalize them. And you know what? I tell you, this is, I think, maybe what I will close with. And it is that if it helps me to speak about these things, chances are it may help others. Even though helping others is not really something that is possible if they don't allow it. I know it from first-hand experience. But you know what? If anything in this podcast just makes you feel a little bit more accepting towards yourself, then it was all worth it, because it's helping me to accept myself as I speak about these things. Because I realized that it's not that serious, At least we have stories, and at least we have all these experiences. And yeah, one day this will be a Netflix document, but who knows? So I think that's all. I feel quite complete. It's almost dark here, and it's so calming. Oh, I wish you were here sitting on this dirty yellow sofa that probably has some bed bugs in it, but that's okay. I'm gonna just burn the clothes that I'm in after this, and I'm so happy if you listened until now. Please let me know what the fuck you think, because, and also the swearing part, it's just the way I talk when I'm excited. Yeah. And so that's okay. It's just, again, being authentic and truthful. So I'm not going to bleep it out, okay? So if you listened until now and you enjoyed it, I want you to comment what was the one light bulb moment, or what are you taking away from this episode? It was intro, but I think I also kind of dipped into different things, and probably also many things, but I think it's pretty good intro episode. And I also thought that it could be done in a way, by the way, that Tomasz, my boyfriend, would ask me questions from a perspective of a listener who, what would you like to know that I could answer in the intro episode of any kind of podcast, okay? And so it never happened because we had a fight about it, and that's why I also left. But that's life, It's okay. And so I'm going to finish here. And so follow or subscribe. This is going to be on YouTube and Apple Podcasts and Spotify Podcasts and all these other things. And they just started playing actually music in the restaurant right here. So it's a perfect timing for me to finish. So we're going for a date with Tomasz now. We're going to have a burger in Bikini Bottom, I think. Yeah, it's a burger place. And we're going to have it here in Hoi An. I hope you have a beautiful day. And I hope that you will be a little bit accepting towards yourself today, because it's you and you're beautiful. And I love you. Bye.